Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Block 9 Podcast Live Lounge. Oh, yes, evening, everybody. How are we doing? So, the shadow of the Grim Reaper, as you can see around me, looms large over Plymouth Argyle, his scythe gleaming with the weight of a season teetering on the brink. It's probably already done with, but as each result draws us closer to the abyss of relegation, the Championship's relentless tide threatening to swallow our dreams. Yet, amidst the darkness, a flicker of hope, it's still there, remains. A chance to defy the odds, to fight, and to keep our spirit alive, taking each game at a time, hoping for one more miracle. Well, gents, did Derby kill it off a bit more last night? Yeah, definitely didn't make it easy, did it? How we doing, gents?
All good, yeah.
Yeah, not too bad.
I thought it was all Bill Shakespeare there for a minute.
Well, you could, come on, you could be a bit more lively, folks. I mean, Gavin's got an excuse.
Fabulous!
Jesus.
I was born with happiness, apparently.
Yeah, Andy, how are you doing anyway this week?
I'm doing all right, mate. I've enjoyed the sunshine. There's not much more to enjoy. No, it's been a good week, actually. I'm sort of optimistic about our future, right? I'm optimistic that Miron's going to do something with our club, whether it be in League One or whether it be in the Championship. I'm hoping it's going to be in the Championship. I'm not resigned to it yet, that we're going down, but I'm more determined to say, come on, let's get alongside the boys and get them fired up if we can. We've got to play our part as well. It's two ways, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And Gavin, who's fresh off the London train yet again, barely will keep himself awake, I think, throughout the show.
I'll be right.
How are you been?
Right. I'm okay. 2 long days, but such is life. I'm about as popular as Thrush in this house, having walked in the door and said, Bye, darling. I'm up for a pod. I think I said hello to her for about 38 seconds. And she's gone to bed. So, I think I'm sleeping on the sofa or in the spare room. Anyway, lovely to see you, chaps.
To choose us over your wife, Sean. Well, there we go. There's commitment, folks.
I nearly did the old, nice to see you, nice, I'm going upstairs to her pod. But I didn't. That's what I should have done. That would have made it, wouldn't it? I'd have been frying panned. Anyway, it's lovely to see everybody. But it was the trip home actually was a little bit symbolic. So left London, 16 degrees, people in shorts and t-shirt, blazing sunshine, everyone in a great mood. Get to Scum Station. Driver decides that he's going to go home because he's had enough. And we were sat on the platform for 35 minutes, and then the rain started to come down a little bit. And then as we went further down, so 40-minute delay, it belted down. And I got to Plymouth and it was cold and wet. And I went, oh, there we go. That's better.
Back
The
home
mood's
again.
uplifted now. I can go back to being a miserable bastard. Evening, everybody. How are we?
Yeah, absolutely excellent. No, but appreciate you jumping on.
Yes, mate.
It's always good, sort of the dedication to this cause to bring you our fantastic show. Of course, folks that are watching us tonight, Carl, you've sort of missed some shows recently due to obviously your work shift commitments. But how's things with you?
Yeah, not too bad. Just a bit of time at work, switching off from football-related news and content and stuff. I haven't had much sleep the past 4 days, so I might be lagging tonight. But
No
I'm
snoring, Carl, please.
excited for the game on Saturday, and I just hope we can give a little bit of hope with 3 points. But I think the job's done now. But yeah, the Derby result didn't help matters last night. I think they'll go on and stay up now. I mean, 4 wins on the bounce is an incredible turnaround. Eustace is a top manager at this level, and it just shows what you can do when you go for a championship experienced manager. So, yeah,
Ooh, is that a little
it
there,
sounds
Carl?
like it. I'm going to be one of those really clever guys off X that just make the obvious. Well done, you. Grow up.
Oh, and Steve looks like he's already ready for this hot weather. Is that a bit of a Hawaiian shirt you've got on there, Steve?
It's actually skulls on it.
Oh, is it?
It's to go with your Grim Reaper thing.
Jam, Steve.
So effectively, you're following my theme with the Grim Reaper then.
The Grim Reaper, yeah.
Sealing our fate. We don't have Herbie tonight. He's out tonight for a meal, so he is going to provide us with our post-match preview. Sorry, to the Norwich game. So you've got to put up with all of us tonight. But anyway, we're going to start off with the news. So I'm going to go straight to our fantastic VT.
It's time for the latest Plymouth Argyle news, brought to you by the Block 9.
So
you didn't finish it. You didn't. That is so bad. Don't spend all that money on special effects and then not finish. Let it run. Let it run to the end.
It was. Listen, like this is a proper feature we're trying to do here. So
the production values in this pod are going down, boys. I can tell you. We need to up the budget.
The investment is poor. So
I'm
just gonna check. Look, hang on. There we go. Right. So
still wait on the investment. Are we?
That is Carl on the right there, isn't it, in the background?
For those that cannot see that are listening, I've just pulled up a little newsroom. So yes, the Block 9 news people are being hard at work, as you can see in the background here. There's desks. It's an old New York Times picture.
And John Cleese, by the looks of it.
Quite fun to add. So not much in terms of news happening out there this week with Argyle. Obviously, we've got Maxi and Brendan Galloway still out. Obviously, we know Maxi's out for the season. But all others are fit. So that's good. Seen a few posts this week with club finances coming out, sort of a few people on the socials. Steve's been sharing with us in the group, some of the sort of debts that clubs have reported, and you're talking significant numbers. I'm not going to touch up on it in any more detail here, but it does bring home to roost. And actually, I think through some of the comments, Steve, it certainly made people realise, I think, and appreciate more actually the way Simon Hallett, has run this club. Would that be fair to say?
Brilliant. Yeah.
So it's
we are such a well-run club without debt.
Yeah, it's one of those where as fans we will always say, you want to have loads of money invested in players, but it's never as simple as that when the money isn't there, where it is in some clubs, but even where it is, you can look at the situation. Obviously, Sheffield Wednesday earlier on this week, where it reported that their owner, has failed to sort of provide the funds to pay the players' wages, and not the first time, So sometimes you do, folks, have to be a little bit thankful for what you have. You can't have everything, but we've got to be thankful for what we have. And also, you can go to the block9.co.uk, our new website. You can find our investment piece that Gavin did with us on our live lounge a few weeks ago, and you can understand then the sort of all the bits behind that. So yes, and other than that, really, we touched upon it. Derby's win last night against Preston. I think, absolutely, Carl. Eustace has done a great job there. Obviously, they had the run that we really wanted to have. They've also had that extra break because of Preston's FA Cup run. It favoured them because obviously they were going to be a lot fresher against Preston. So, fair play to them. But what it does do, it still makes some of these other clubs squeak a little bit because they're going to get drawn into that. So, yes, absolutely, Andy. As I said at the start, there is always still that glimmer.
Always.
And we can play with a bit of no fear, I think. Would that be fair, Andy, to say?
Yeah, I don't see what we've got nothing to lose now. I think a lot of the players may be already resigned to the fact that we could be down playing League One next season. I'm not resigned to that yet. I'm hoping the players aren't feeling that way because I think there's still a lot to play for. We tend to play better against the clubs higher up the league as we've done before. We haven't had many wins this season, but we tend to play better against them. So they're going to come to our turf now. Sheffield United are going to come here. Leeds got to come here. Norwich got to come here. And there's no reason why we can't go and get a result against them and raise our game a bit.
Yeah, no, it's. I mean, Gavin, it is. I said the other day, sort of, I resign myself to it, but I still look at the fact that there is a mathematical opportunity, and I know a lot of people have resigned themselves to it, and we've said before, it makes sense for you to accept it, so you mentally you don't feel so stressed out about it. But it's, I think we talked about in our last live lounge about Mueslich and the hoofball myth and how we expect and how you can see his style of play. It's definitely worth checking that out if you're new to us and haven't seen that. So there is a lot to look forward to, even though it will be gutting to leave this league, but it will be definitely, hopefully, an exciting opportunity to try and get back into it.
Yeah. I'm kind of chilled out about the whole thing now. I think 10 days ago, I just looked myself in the mirror and said, it'd be all right in League One, wouldn't it? Be all right tonight. Let's not get too excited. Let's just roll with the punches. It makes you feel a whole lot better when you look at the results. Because if that had been 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks ago when Derby won 2-0, you'd have been like, oh my God, there's a mountain to climb. I just looked at that last night, laughed and threw my phone down and made a cup of tea and went to bed in my hotel. It is what it is. Well, the league table doesn't lie, to use a cliche. And we are where we are.
Yeah.
That's it. Listen to the press conference. By the way, shout out to Argyle TV for getting that up nice and early. I'm glad I pay for that now when it's on YouTube for free. Thank you very much. Go on, Charlie Price. You knock him out of the ballpark, son. Having watched that on the way home, I suppose the bit that irks is a little bit is, we're all mad up for it now because we got to win Saturday. Well, you've probably been mad up for it all year, haven't you? So saying that's a bit stupid.
Yeah.
But I thought Cornell Suits come across very well, actually.
Yeah, we'll come on to the press conferences in a minute. We're going to do both the Evergreen one, which was a fabulous one, and for the members that got selected to go to that, great little experience there. We'll go through the questions. The live lounge for those that are joining us tonight. If you are new to us, we welcome you in. We are the Block 9 podcast. We've been doing this since the sort of pre-season of the championship and bringing our show from originally TikTok, where we started off there, and then we've finally found our way into you on X and YouTube. So we bring you a bit of our own style, our own angle on it. The live lounge is our new Thursday night show that we want to bring a bit more of a relaxed and chilled out approach. And obviously, where there's a game, we will of course discuss that game and preview that. And also, what it does allow us to do though is bring you some different content. And if you go and check our channel, like I said, you'll be able to see the sort of presentations that we've done recently in things like investment, the psychological effects on players and fans in difficult situations, and as I just alluded to, Mueslich hoofball, where we dissected and Gavin went away and researched and brought in a lot of content, to what we can expect to see. But so we'll just sort of go into the sort of questions that came up in the Evergreen session earlier on this week. So let me just make a few tweaks. So there we go. Let's change the ticker at the bottom. And also, before I start that, actually, I finally set up an account on Pizzotti. So Andy's been badgering me to get that on there soon, and did all that. And so we're finally joining there.
Welcome to all the Pizzotti-ites out there. You're all welcome.
Yeah, sorry you have to put up with Andy on there for all these years, but
Terrible.
beggars can't be choosers. It's a free forum. It is a great forum. I used to be on there many years ago, but just don't have the time for all this stuff. Andy just has sat at home doing nothing all day, so
Yeah.
he's got plenty of time for it.
Bit of muchness, yeah.
That's so the Evergreen press conference with Miron Music. So started off with a question from a Jamie. So how does Plymouth Argyle compete with more attractive UK areas for investment? Given its southwest location and smaller business sponsorship pool, is this hampering our progress? And Miron's response to that was he acknowledged the geographical disadvantage. There's obviously the long travel times, the 6 hours to Watford, like recently, which can deter first team signings. However, it's an advantage for retaining youth players due to fewer nearby clubs. Also, I would say that, and we'll ask a question out to the panel, but also gives us a bit of a hindrance because then we can't get our youth players out to other clubs. But he also sees the more benefits and drawbacks, citing the strong community support and overall business interest in Argyle. So, sort of, Carl, I come to you on that question. Distance is always a problem, isn't it, for us? With players and all that sort of stuff. That's not new to anybody, is it? But
No.
anything more you want to sort of share or add to that from Miron's response?
It's just part and parcel of being Plymouth Argyle, isn't it? We can't change our location. We've always had issues trying to persuade players, families, more importantly, down here. Probably more so the last season or so when we've struggled. I think if we're in a successful team and having a good season, I don't think you'd struggle to get players here. Obviously, our wage demands as well doesn't help matters, but yeah, it will always be a challenge going forward with the location. Maybe when we get Brickfields up and running, we can entice some younger players here and get them integrated early down in this region. But yeah, it's always been a long-standing issue, isn't it?
Yeah, it has. It's definitely a difficult one because when you are only 2 hours up the road, and then you've got so much in that sort of catchment area to go to as a young player, we're not going to be spoiled for choice. We get that, we understand that, so that is just one of the battles and things that we have to deal with as a club, isn't it? So we'll Steve, obviously we talk about the youth a lot in our sort of group chats, and we have mentioned on here, haven't we? And I think it'd be great to see it grow and blossom a bit more.
Most definitely. Yeah, it obviously what you find is youth obviously is easier to attract youth players or players that obviously haven't got no ties in that bubble. Is usually like the partners can't settle down here.
Yeah, well, depending on how young they are. I hope they're not settling down too early.
Yeah. Well, it's been a known fact over the years, wasn't it?
Yeah,
it's like when we was in League One, I think we're going to pay slightly higher wages to attract players down here. I remember through the Sturrock era.
Yeah, there's always, I think it's fair to say, there's always a bit of a, negotiating advantage, isn't there, as a player side, for sort of coming down here. You're either out of favour and, you want the opportunity, and we've given that and made some players, really shine off the back of that. But yes,
I think that's why we see lots of young players coming down here, because they don't have kids, they don't really have wives and commitments and things. And I think that's why we struggle to get maybe kind of championship quality players here, or a bit of experience, because they've got to relocate families, schools, and it's not easy, is it?
No, and you can sort of see that with the recent Youth Cup quarter final, couldn't you? The difference in quality, and I mean that respectfully to the youth, but just the amount of options and choice that they have for youth players over there, is up there is just immense. The second question came from a Caroline Wheels. So, what's the long-term plan if the club is relegated? So, obviously, lots of talk about the investment. We've touched upon that just now, and how and what will work, with that if the club go down. Miron's answer was he emphasised that there's still a chance to avoid relegation. Also, absolutely. But regardless of the outcome, a thorough analysis of the season struggles is needed. He highlighted the club's potential, the fan base, and the need to use it to bounce back. So, there's so much, Gavin, isn't there, to digest from this season. We will do, and it will probably be a multi-part session at the end of the season because there'll be a lot to talk about, and we won't want to cram that into a 2-3 hour a single slot. But yeah, your thoughts on that one, Gavin?
I don't think you need to be a footballing genius to work out our squad's not quite fit for purpose. I think ironically it would do okay in League One, as it is for the pre-season, but we need some more quality. If you look at what teams have done in the past that have been successful, that have gone bumping up, Wrexham being one, Ipswich being another, they've recruited players for mid-table of the league above of where they play, and I think next year we'll have that kind of budget for guys that are, been sold a dream by Miron, whatever. But I don't think we'll have many in the door in the summer. Maybe half a dozen. I think maybe we'll have 7 or 8 out the door. I don't think it'll be a massive squad, but we just need to improve on quality, don't we? Because midfield's barren. I think there will be a big clear out, which is required. I think there will be some players that will get a second lease of life. I think Al Haj and Beidou would be the two that would stick out. I know they've had another hammering this week. But yeah, that's it. You look at, will we have a top 6 budget? We've already been told that without any new investment.
Yeah.
New investment comes, which from understanding of conversations I've had off piste, it will be here by June. Then we'll be talking about a top 1 or top 2, depending on who goes up budget, and probably a 15th to 18th budget in the Championship at that time. So that's great.
Yeah, no, I think absolutely. It's you have to review everything. I think there's when we found ourselves in this situation yet again, like with sort of Ian Foster, coming in that January time last year as well. It was everything's difficult, and there's a lot of raw emotions. We've touched upon it a lot. We just need to get to the end, however that may be. Try and go out on a strong showing. Even if we just don't do enough to keep us up, that will only be our own fault, clearly for that. But then, a chance to sort of everybody to have a bit of a break, digest the situation. Will we see a new director of football or sporting director, however that comes? I think there's a lot of commitment already that's been given to Miron and his backroom staff since he's joined. I know a few people have questioned, will Miron stay, if we get relegated? I think from the sentiment of the overall of this press conference, I don't think he's going anywhere unless someone comes in for crazy money. And I don't think and I mean it respectfully to Miron, because there's not enough of a showing for people to sort of feel that confidence.
No one's going to come and poach a guy who's taken a team on that was above the relegation zone and find ourselves bottom.
Yeah.
Irrespective. And that's not all on Miron by any stretch or Adam or anybody else. But you're just going to just look at that. Even if they thought he was the best thing since sliced bread, can you imagine selling that to the fans? What we've done is we've taken the Argo manager for £1 million of compensation or whatever it is. I know he took them down, and I know they weren't in the relegation zone when they hired him. But I mean, it would be absolutely catastrophic, wouldn't it?
It would be. It would be. So, on to the next question, which was from an Aaron. How was Nikolai Katic chosen as captain when Joe and Adam were absent, and how did the team respond? I thought that was sort of a great question, really, because he got given that quite quickly and early on. Miron's response to that was, it was an easy decision, due to Katic's leadership and responsibilities from day one. I mean, remember, folks, this is a player that Miron had to really hound in the nicest way to get to join. Obviously, he did turn us down due to our situation. And I think we can all agree, since he's joined, he's been phenomenal. So despite being alone as well, important to remember that. I'm sure we all do. But he cares deeply and is respected in the locker room, whether he's leading by example. The team have responded well. And later transitioning back to Adam was also seamless. And we've said this a few times as well, Andy, haven't we, about having leaders in the in the dressing room, more leaders, out there that are prepared to take that responsibility on the pitch and off the pitch.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's sort of taken a Joe Edwards approach, isn't he? You would probably wouldn't argue with him if you were in a
You
conference.
wouldn't want to owe him 20 quid, would you?
You wouldn't.
No.
But he's a leader, a natural leader. He is younger than Joe as well, to be fair. I'm sorry, Joe, for watching. But he's a very good leader. He talks a lot. Yeah, I watch his game, so he talks a lot and gets involved, gets the other players involved very, very easily, and points out things that are not right as well, which is what you need from a leader. So I think it's a natural sort of role for him to sort of fall into. I sort of don't want to sort of take that off Rands, because Rands is still sort of learning this trade, but I think we need someone with a bit more experience there. I think he's 26, 27, something like that, and he's got a little bit more experience than Rands. Certainly at a higher level. So yeah, we need to have that on the pitch. We need to have that in bucket loads on the pitch. We need another 9 Katiches.
It's going to be interesting, I think, what happens with him at the end. At the end of the day, players, have to look after themselves. There's always that reality check, the loyalty side. Yes, it's there for a period, and they're playing for a short window of their career, so they are going to go where they can financially secure themselves. But I think the thing that hit me with Katic was the end of the Derby result, and you could just see that he had given everything. I think, in my opinion, it came across to me that he was quite distraught, really, that actually we didn't get that game over the line. With him being captain in that, that was a tough one, and it's great to see players like that care, and I'm absolutely so pleased that Miron pushed and pushed and pushed to get him to join us, and it's a pleasure having him, even if it is only for a short while longer.
It's professional pride, though, for a man like that, isn't it? That he could be playing for the Dog and Ducks second 11 on a Sunday morning. It's about his character and him trying to do the best for everyone around him.
Yeah, 100%.
My brother said that after the Derby game, 2 individuals sped off in their cars, having barely got dried and toweled down from the shower. One was him, the other was Maxi. So I think they probably went home before they said something they probably would have regretted. Which, I love that. It's great, isn't it? I think you see the Premier League too much. People get walloped in really key games, and they're all laughing after the game and swapping shirts. And you're like, no, I'm going to go home now and kick the cat and probably give the wife an absolute verbal volley. And you're laughing with the opposition, swapping stories and going, it's all right, I'm on £200 a week. So I quite like the fact that they're taking this seriously and they're taking it personally. For me, it's a good character trait.
Yeah, I think, with everything that's gone on, sort of throughout the whole season, it's not just the recent events in recent months that's killed our season off. Absolutely not, but it's, who's phoning who?
Someone's on around.
It's one of those where there's clearly there was some issues very sort of partway through Rooney's tenure, and that affected a lot of the players, which we've said before. We've seen some shining lights come out of the back of it. Another person sort of added to recruitment.
Just speaking on Katic, Mike, before you move on, do you think everyone, we've got a decent chance of keeping hold of him next season with Maxi being here? Because they've got a great partnership, haven't they? Friendship off the pitch. Maybe they can kind of talk between themselves and try and persuade each other to try and stay for next season and push back.
It's a good point. I mean, there could be the whole investment thing could swing it to a degree into, obviously, Maxi's signed, but it's almost like, can we afford to, because normally obviously players' wages are going to typically drop when you go down, and to get Maxi in the first place, we've all said about what release clauses might there be in there, but I'd like to think so. It's all about how this investment, I think, unfolds to drive the vision that they would have been sold by the club. So there's still a lot of skepticism out there
if you offered Katic the captaincy, right, and said we're building a team around you and Maxi and Pleggy and Such, etc. But we've got a rock bed of defence. Galloway will be back next year as well. We think we've got a great set of centre backs. We want you to be in the middle of this. You lead the team. he may well then think, well, actually, good chance going back up, good budget. Yeah, I'll come. Because having a promotion on your CV doesn't do any harm, does it?
No, absolutely. And just reading a couple of comments that have come in from Ian. Good to see Ian. Let me just bring that one up first. Sorry. Yeah, Ian said Katic looked a leader from the start. His passion as a lone player too. And Martin Ingham, good evening, Martin, has said, I think we can allow Maxi to speed off because we never know what news he might have received from Ukraine.
It's very true.
So the next question, sort of followed on really from that about recruitment. So, how do you attract the players like Maxi and Katic to Plymouth despite the challenges? Miron said, sort of an easy decision due to Katic's leadership and responsibility. Hang on, I read out the wrong one. Recruitment is key for the club with a limited budget. It's all about finding players with the right character and attitude, not just skill. Examples like Katic and Maxi show success in this approach, vital for competitiveness. And I think, sort of for Miron, he was quite adamant clearly on what he wanted there. And obviously with all the news, through the January window, and we were sort of hoping and praying for a striker, this, that and the other, he's clearly wanted to make sure that he is getting, as he outlined then, the players that he absolutely wants. So certainly turned on its head probably the recruitment profile that they were going to go with originally, and certainly in the summer, like Gavin said, we'll probably see some, a few changes, clearly intakes and outtakes, and that will be a session and a part that we will do at the end of the season to go through what we think on the players that will stay and go. Also, there was a young lad on there that came on and asked him what his favourite Fanta flavour was. And Miron replied and just said, orange, classic and fresh, best consumed immediately after opening. Of course, with every fizzy drink. I can't understand people that drink flat pop.
Yeah.
Not for me.
Best
Is there any other
hangover in the world,
Fanta fans in the house?
There is.
Yeah.
I do like
Hands
the
up.
is it the fruit twist one? That's quite nice. But yeah,
Apple
orange.
Fanta's nice.
Lemon Fanta for me.
Yeah. I think I don't mind orange. I find it perfect in the summer because it is nice and refreshing. But it's one of those, I think, that you sort of, I don't go to that often. And when you have one, you do enjoy it and you'll buy it for a few weeks. And then, I'm a diehard Coca-Cola original fan for me. Gavin?
Don't drink fizzy drinks.
Do you not?
That tonic water with gin. Okay? That's as good as
just
it
straight
gets.
tonic.
Drink fizzy drinks. Squash. I am actually the biggest consumer of pink grapefruit barley water squash in the whole of Plymouth, according to Sainsbury's, because it's the only place I can get it, and we get it delivered in the bucket load. And I get this little thing from my Sainsbury's guy saying, you're the highest consumer by about 400%. So there you go.
Well, I do love your pink bottle, by the way, which I'm sure is definitely
Beautiful.
yours.
Hey, I'll be touching my feminine side, boys. Don't you worry about that. It's all good.
Just need to get a block 9 sticker on that bad boy.
Yeah, we do. You're right. Yeah, very good.
So yes,
Tell
and
me.
coming on to the next question, which was from a Samantha Brayley. Are there plans to add more players like Maxine and Katic to strengthen in the midfield? Miron said the goal is to recruit players with their character across all positions, not just midfield, to enhance competitiveness despite the financial disadvantages. Also, Mel had a question: which top flight teams inspire your style? I thought this was a great question. And is it suitable for lower leagues like the Championship or maybe even lower? The answer to that question he gave was he's inspired by Atletico Madrid structure and intensity, and English teams like Leeds, Sunderland and Sheffield United. He adapts his style, e.g. Liverpool, like the intensity, to suit the squad's capabilities and not just imposing his philosophy. And I think we've seen a lot of it. We talked a lot of it in the last show on his style and what we can expect. I thought it was a great question.
This was the most interesting part of the whole press conference for me, because he basically admitted, I'm not going to try and put a square peg through a round hole. This is what we've got. I'm playing with what we've got. It's a pair of twos, isn't it? All day, every day. I love Voodoo. Champagne's the unacceptable. It is. It's the unacceptable sparkling drink. Amen. Apart from tonic water. I like the fact that he was like basically just saying, yeah, I've inherited some shit, and I'll try and roll it in glitter and make it as best I can, but we can't play my football with what we have here. And I think that was probably Rooney's mistake. And he said it, didn't he, on the podcast with those people from Manchester that talk about Man United all day, every day. That didn't have good enough players, really. Well, you shouldn't have fucking started to play Atletico or Real Madrid football with dog and duck players. So I quite like that. I like the honesty. And I think it does mean that we'll see more Cercle Bruges type football next year once we've got some time to train them and the ones we're keeping and obviously getting some good ones in.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we go on to didn't get the name of this one. How do you motivate the team during the tough times? Another great question. And after an inspiring opening speech, yes, that viral speech, I think actually generated more impressions, likes, engagement than probably the whole Wayne Rooney introduction. So Miron replied with, motivation is intrinsic in players. His role is to keep them engaged, not just happy. He stays positive publicly to protect them, noting motivation alone doesn't win games. It's just a small part of the equation. Yeah, I mean, you can have, Carl, you can have a really good quality squad, but if they're all distracted or all fed up, they've got to be wanting to get out there and pull in the performance, haven't they?
Of course, and that always leads back to having the right characters in the squad, hence him bringing in Maxi and Katic with that right mentality, because if you've got a whole bunch of 11 that don't want to be there, struggling mentally, hard to keep their emotions in check. Obviously, Randall found out the hard way with his. But yeah, it's just hard when you've been struggling all season to keep spirits high, and obviously the new guys that have come in have helped with that. But yeah, it must be hard for Miron to continually, week by week, trying to G them up, and we failing to do that on the weekend. So hopefully, one big G up this weekend might give us a bit of a bounce.
Do you know what he's never done though, Carl? You know what he's never done? Do you know what he's never done?
Mm-hmm.
He's never done a Rooney and gone,
no.
Oh, I'm just so disappointed.
No.
Oh, in training all week we looked amazing, and now they've not even executed the plan that I gave them. He's never thrown anyone under the bus.
He's never called players out, has he?
No, not once. Which I admire.
Yeah. I'm not saying
on X, calling players
I'm not
out.
saying he would do. I'm not saying he would do. He has had to balance the delicate side, if I look at it this way, of coming in as an unknown, trying to deal with a club that is going to struggle for survival. So it isn't going to help him, as we know with what Ian Foster did when he came in and all the changes he made and shut everybody out. That clearly had a massive negative impact in it. So I don't think we'll see it. What I'm interested to see though at some stage is what happens when he absolutely does lose his shit, and sort of really pits a point across, and he may have already done it in the dressing room, but that would be interesting. So next question, let me just scroll down here. What's your favourite moment with the club so far? The final whistle, he said, against Liverpool, an earthquake atmosphere. Yeah, love that. And a goal against Manchester City with the Green Army's energy making it unforgettable. As we all know, as most of us went, just to get that goal at the Etihad was enough. The win would have been ideal, but clearly not. So I think you can't argue with the Liverpool one, though, can you? I mean, his first game he watched was the Brentford one.
Yeah. Something special.
He'll take that as a win as well. I was there then.
On his CV. Absolutely.
He seems to like that buzz, doesn't he? He seems to like the buzz of the crowd getting behind the team. And I think we've lost that in the last few games, understandably, because we haven't played really well. Derby was a good example of that.
Really, Andy, what really surprised me, actually, when you hear, I've heard Katic talk, I've heard Maxi talk, I've heard Pusac talk, I've heard Such talk this season on Argyle TV, when they don't flog it off to YouTube. And they've all said the atmosphere in an English ground is completely different. And, when you score, like the whole place shakes, blah, blah, blah. But and only when I was researching Cercle Bruges, even on the Bruges derby, it was like, Jesus Christ, football in a library. There was nothing there. There wasn't that intensity that the crowd had. I don't know whether because it was sunny and everyone's like in a task, but you feel that on a big game at home park, even in the prawn sandwich brigade where I sit, you feel that intensity, don't you? And that's what I think the players love, and I think that's what Miron said he loves. You know, listening to that ball at the back of the net, who scores, listening to that roar is amazing.
Yeah.
Gavin, please don't jump the questions. That's the last question.
Oh, sorry.
A lot of people, though, Gav, aren't they? They're just too quick to criticise players, and I'll put my hand up. I've done it before as well. I've criticised players. But to do it like publicly on a forum like X is just unacceptable, isn't it? You think Michael Beatty he's a player as well. He's a human being as well, and he's got right slating. All right, some people may say that's justified, but in the end,
it's justified, but it's just got too personal, hasn't it?
It has got personal, and it was really silly. I thought that was out of order. And if you're going to build a player up, you're going to try to build a player up, and the people that sort of
some of the comments that you break every bone in your body and all that is like, oh, fuck off.
Yeah, I think that was that was quite an important point he put across, during the conference, sort of the whole effect of social media and being able to have that keyboard warrior voice.
Sorry about that.
I just seen Beauty's comment, and sorry about that.
So it ain't you, dude. We know that.
In the chat,
I want you to remake another D team, because that was fantastic. You haven't done it.
Funny enough, I'm rekindling some old episodes of A-Team thanks to a TV streaming service called Pluto. So if you're a big fan, go check it out. I love the A-Team. It's very easy when we're sat here behind our screens, to sort of pit out and pick on things. I did it. I got frustrated about Beidou as everybody did. Aaron Kuzach, we were talking about it in the group. And Gavin watched that. I think that is exclusive on the Argyle TV. It could be wrong, but it possibly is. And it's a confidence thing. We actually highlighted it on the show as well. I think that we've got to just get through this season, get to the end, and then hopefully see, the sort of best out of out of players like that, and see what we've got there. Ian M in the comments, you could see the emotion on Miron's face when he was talking about social media. Yeah, it's a really, really good observation. Ian, it's you can't deny they're never going to hide away from it. They are going to know about it. They are going to see it. But I remember him saying in his opening speech, that is what it's about in football. It's not nice to see it. It's too easy now with all the social medias to throw bullying comments out there effectively, people expressing their views, and you have to deal with that. The one way to shut it down is to make sure you can go out there and perform all the time, but it is mentally challenging.
The other way to shut it down is to make sure you verify your social media account to a name and a face. Sorry, really. But it's true, isn't it? Sorry, Fergus Pete. Sorry, everyone else who's but all seriousness, there's some really good guys actually for the bad memes is another one. Class, really, the stuff he's doing in a minute with Errington is.
Kept watch of that.
But that's brilliant. But there are some people that use that anonymity. That's the right word. My brain's dead.
Yeah, it is.
To just kick off and call people every name under the sun with no comeback. And that's what irks me. Like, I've called players out, but my face, my name is on my Twitter handle, right? So if someone, I've had letters. I'm sure as everyone else has who does that, and I'm, I've been called out on Twitter and I've been called out in the stands and everything else. I don't mind that. If someone comes up to me with a rational argument, let's have a chat about it. But when you're hiding behind a faceless Twitter account to do evil things and not kind things, as my 7-year-old would say, not kind comments, Daddy, that for me irks. If you do it for comedy reasons, grand, got no problem with that. But yeah, that's what irks me, is you've got these guys that are hiding behind some Twitter handle somewhere, serving absolute volleys at players who have put themselves on the public domain, who see this stuff, and for no reason. It's
and other fans who talk sense, to be fair.
Yeah, well, exactly. The other thing as well, going back to your live line, actually, Andy, the highs and the lows.
Yeah.
But you'll see some people that are like, we've won. Oh, everyone's the best player. Give them all the Ballon d'Or. We lose the following week, and they're like, he's a shithead. I hope he breaks every bone in his body. Can't win. And you just think, oh, come on.
It's a strange mentality, isn't it? You have to get behind your team or you don't.
Yeah, yeah. It's this is not just exclusive to us, and it's not just exclusive to
Every fan
football.
base in the country's got it. It's society, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. So moving on to the next question, so that this came from Gemma Austin. What's the most challenging aspect of your coaching career? So another great question. Miron responded with, coaching is a constant struggle with rewarding moments. Challenges evolve, e.g. avoiding relegation, reaching Europe like he did with Cercle Bruges. And every day at Argyle is a challenge he embraces as a privilege. And I think, sort of that's a great sort of point to make, because when you are, the manager of a club, there's a lot of trust put in you to try and provide and bring success to that. There's a lot of fans that want to see you deliver results and great football, So yeah, I can imagine every day, especially in our situation and the tough results, getting out of bed every day to motivate yourself to go in there and motivate your team to say, we can do better and we can get ourselves out of this, or we can certainly end on a high. Like that question. Next one from a Marcus Costin. How do you keep the team motivated during the tough times? This is where the social media one came up, actually. Miron said the players face relentless public scrutiny, making their job tough. He shields them externally, noting their intrinsic motivation despite results. That's that we touched upon just now. And then another question from Matt. Does the current style of play reflect your philosophy, or have you adapted due to the squad and league position? Very interesting one in that first game he had, where you could see he was trying to impose that straight away, and it clearly wasn't working. But Miron said, he adapted from his high-intensity Belgium style, e.g. the high defensive line, to suit the current squad, aiming to maximise their potential rather than rigidity, sticking to his ideals. So, Steve, I think, I think he did try and come in really, didn't he? And from the off, try to sort of get us to do his style, and then had to realise very quickly that, hang on a minute, need to calm down.
Yeah, he has to adapt a bit to our strengths at the moment, because we haven't got the players to play the way he wants to play.
Yeah.
It will come. He needs a summer. He needs a chance to bring his own players, to bring his own ideas to the team, because I've got a lot of confidence in Miron Muslit.
Yeah, I think it's certainly grown after this press conference. It definitely lifted a lot of people from that. So John Doyle asked, what's the biggest tactical change since taking over, and why? Miron says stabilising the defence, previously conceding 2.5 goals a game, was critical, achieved with signings like Katic and Maxi. Next is improving the attacking ruthlessness. So yeah, we've mentioned those two players early on. Fantastic additions. Where would we be without? Is it just one of those things that luckily we don't have to say, but unfortunately it hasn't helped us from trying to stay in the league, but we would certainly be in a worse place without them. Gareth Coleman, the last few questions now. How do you plan to develop the team, and what are your performance goals? Miron said developing youngsters is a tough, and in an unstable environment like Argyle's last year, he aims to strengthen fundamentals to support growth and produce future stars. And again, we sort of touched upon that earlier, Carl, didn't we, in terms of the sort of youth question and the earlier questions in that were given out about the location, etc. So yeah, a lot to still work on, but lots to look forward to, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. I just can't wait for the season to end now, and seeing what happens in pre-season, what players we bring in, what style of play we're going to implement in the summer, pre-season games, just the whole buzz around of a new season starting again, starting fresh.
Optimism.
Yeah. Looking forward to games. Looking forward to seeing new signings again. His signings, goals, home wins, maybe. But yeah, just starting with a clean slate. I think the last season it's just been an utter disaster from top to bottom. I think we're just all glad when the summer comes. We can all chill out, have lots of family time, forget about football, and look forward to the new season again.
Yeah, I'm feeling strangely chilled now. A bit like Gab, really. I think the season, if we're honest with ourselves, is over for us. we've still got some football to play, but I think it's over for us. League One next year, got to be resigned to that. So I'm a
back
bit more
with the
chilled about
scum.
it. Yeah,
If
I'm
we
looking
can
forward
put
to those
seven-
games.
changes.
To be fair,
I think if we can put 7 good performances together on the bounce, right, and we win 2 or 3, that's a great end and go down. That's a great end to the season.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
correct.
someone
Into
highlighted
next
that
year.
actually, Gav, in the press conference this afternoon. There was a question right at the end there, and he said that Argyle put 6 wins together at the end of when we won the promotion.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
And we did, and it was brilliant. We needed 6 wins, and we got 6 wins. And it
we
was
got
like,
6 wins. Yeah.
Yeah,
A
it's,
couple were last-minute squeaky bums. Shrewsbury away being the big one.
oh yeah, Callum Wright. See, everyone's knocking Callum
Curtains.
Wright.
Not
He
his
won
Curtains
the
at the
Yeah,
back
wasn't it?
post.
Yeah.
Where's
Yeah.
Herbie when you need him for the curtains?
That League
Well-
One looks very weak in comparison to when we was last there.
Well, hey, it's
Birmingham
nothing's
next
ever
week,
easy,
they're going
nothing's
out.
ever guaranteed. So but we can definitely end on a positive 100%, and go out fighting, at least for sure. The last couple of questions and that came in. Mandy Thomas, if relegated to League One, have you been assured of a budget to rebuild? Miron said, with 7 games left, it's too early to focus on this. He'll plan later to maximise the stability and competitiveness, regardless of the league. Yeah, he's just
My
literally
arse.
got to get on with it.
My ass. They've got a list for League One and a list for the Championship already. To say, that's just the most political answer I've ever seen.
they'll be planning for both scenarios already.
Yeah.
Different scenarios they will plan.
Yeah, they will
Jimmy
do.
will be squirreling away now on his iPad. having fun. No, not on that way, guys. Come on. Jimmy's a
I
clean
don't
guy.
know.
He's a
I have
family
no
man.
idea what you're talking about, Gavin.
Yeah,
this is
exactly
a clean
right.
show.
Oh, yeah, he was just spent 2 days away in London.
Either way, he's going to put out the rubble, isn't he?
Yeah, no, yeah, exactly right. But he will be. They'll have a League One list. They'll have a Champ list. They'll have a League One budget and a Champ budget, and they'll be talking already. I imagine. I can't have seen on Twitter the last couple of days. Oh, so and so's off to so and so at the end of the season. How does that work? The last few games when you're the player who's knowing that they're going to be already like a piece of meat flipped off to another club at the end of the year.
Yeah. Exactly. No, he needs to just focus on it. But yes, there will be, and he'll be part of that to a degree.
He ain't going to give the team list out now. Well, yeah, if we stay in League One, here's the team. Here's the guy. Stay in Champions. Here's the one. No, he ain't going to say that, is he?
No.
If it was 2 games left and we were already relegated, he might have given a different answer, probably.
So the last question came from a Richard Reardon. What's the most unexpected difference between coaching in Europe and England, and how does it challenge your tactics? Brilliant question. Miron responded with England's football passion. He really stressed on that. The crowd noises after goals. It's a unique and exhilarating feeling. I mean, we received a lot of late last minute equalisers or winners under Rooney in that first part of the season, and you just experiences, isn't it, that you can't match. And I think if you don't get that in those other leagues, that's quite surprising. So it was a good point I thought he brought up. He loves the area, Plymouth's nature, and adapts his tactics to the squad and not just importing European style. So there will be all of that adjustment coming on. But yeah, I think we're lucky to have him as a club, and I think in the English league we're lucky to have him in our leagues. So for that, so effectively summarising, Miron constantly emphasised recruitment, character, community support, and adapting the challenges while expressing optimism about our future potential. So that was the Evergreen fans forum. So yeah, I thought, gents, that was was a really good one, actually. And what I don't always listen to them fully, but I did pay a lot of attention to that one.
Very honest feedback from Miron. I just think he's the right man for the job. People aren't going to like that style, but I personally like that because it's transparency with him. You know what you're going to get with him. You can see what he's trying to do with the club. He's trying to take the club forward with the style of football that he wants to bring in. He is bringing it in gradually, but sadly, we're running out of games. It's going to take a few more weeks, I think, to implement that.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I'm just going to... Sorry, you stopped a bit more sudden than I thought you would do there. I'm going to...
Garble on a bit more if you like.
I'm trying to multitask. So I'm going to go now to the sort of Norwich preview. So the press conference with that. So I'll just summarise. Just going to get to it now. The questions that came up.
2 seconds. I've got a flickering light a minute. I'm going
you and Gavin with your dodgy light bulbs.
He's got a ghost there, I think.
Hang on. A toffee crisp is going to come out of his lampshade in a minute with a flickering list. Only a certain person on the pod with an age got that one.
I think he's trying to also compete with Herbie on the curtains. He's got them in his shot as well. So, so Zooks was up. Cornell Zooks was up for the player to be interviewed in the press conference today. Let me just drag that over so I can see it on my screen. So, I'll just read out a couple of these. Sorry, go on.
My fluorescent light's gone.
That was it.
In the kitchen.
Coffee crisp.
So I'm going to get a new tube.
So you're going to, not tubes anymore, LEDs.
LED, well, obviously. The ones I've got here is about 10 years old, I think.
Yeah, that's everything's LEDs these days. First comment that Cornell made was every game is very important now. I hope after the last game we can take some positives into this big match. I hope we can win and come closer in the table again. I think the performance against Watford there was a lot of positives. We said that the first half being one of them, Carl. So. Look, we want to see them go out with a fight, and that was showing that, in that game. So against Norwich, and if we win it, depending on other results, folks, it could still just keep it interesting.
Yeah, of course. I think if we get 3 points, we might have a glimmer of hope if results go away. But we need 3 wins on the bounce without any rivals winning, realistically. So. Yeah, we got 4 home games. We need to get maximum points, I would say, probably from all of them to stand a chance. But yeah, who knows? If we can put in a decent performance, get 3 points, then it just gives us a bit of hope. And everyone will be happy on the weekend for the first time in a little while.
Yeah, it's good to just keep everybody sort of on the happier side emotionally, rather than not. Isn't
when
it?
we lose, you just all log off the group chat, don't we?
I think the way Norwich play will suit our goal.
Possibly. Yeah, possibly. I think we just got to go out there and impose. I want to see us impose our style even harder to prevent the opposition trying to play to their style. Another response Cornell gave: we are not in an easy situation, except that we know that, but we are going to give our best to win the match. We are playing as a back 3 now. It's easier to defend like this. The gaffer has given us the belief, the motivation that we needed to do that. Do you think that's been forced a little bit because of Maxi's absence?
Well,
playing a back 3.
Play a back 3 anyway. We always played a back 3 in the Mirror.
So we played a back 3.
But it was only Rooney that done like a back 3. He played a back 4, which then became a back 2, which then became they've scored another one.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Yeah, fair enough.
Zooks can play there, can't he? Zooks can play there. Sorinola can play on the right, and we've still got that back. We've still got those 5 sort of.
With Galloway back next year, hoping he has a run of not breaking himself again.
Are we going to go with Galloway again next season? I know he's in contract, but
he's in
contract. A massive risk again, isn't it?
I don't know if I would. You sort of play him 3 or 4 games
get enough out of him
for the rest of the season.
That's
the player,
League One, not a problem. I think the intensity of the champ, I'd say he's. But I mean, he's played Premier League football, boys.
Yeah, without question, if he's fit, he's a top class defender. This league or League One, but when you can't guarantee even half a season from him, it's just a massive risk, isn't it?
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? It is difficult.
Yes, absolutely, 100%. But when you've got
at least every season it's been, isn't it?
Yeah,
he's had a big injury every year the last 3 years, isn't he?
Yeah, which is sad because he's a good player.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It's just some players suffer with that situation, don't they? Cornell also went on to say, just this morning when we spoke about Norwich, afterwards we spoke about the game we lost in November. That's another motivation for us this weekend to show them that we're better. We are better than we were. I think, that's no denying that. They want to go out and make that point, which is just another good motivation. He also said, I think I have improved a lot personally in himself. I'm a person who tries to learn to do every day what I can to achieve my dreams. This season is not easy at the moment, but we have to look at the good moments, and I hope that gives us the extra motivation and he's been patient as well, where he's lost out to obviously the likes of Katic and Maxi coming in. So I think he's done really well since he's able to get back into the squad, and still love those long throws that bring another angle, and dimension to our play.
He lost his way, didn't he, when Gibson left a little bit, and then we didn't really have that sort of pairing with Pleguezuelo. You haven't mentioned tonight, Mike. To be fair,
yeah, that's a bit strange, isn't it?
He was injured.
I know,
wasn't he?
there's a little sweepstake going.
He was injured for New Year's Day.
I've got my mugs of sort coming his way still. So,
but
I did touch base.
When Gibson left,
in the week.
he didn't have that same relationship. There was a sort of a good backup there with Gibbo there, wasn't there?
He's definitely been a solid signing, I think, and I think especially next season in League One, he's going to be one of the star performers.
I like his surges from up the Watford away when he got the ball and just said bollocks, I'm off, and just charged at the opposition line. It was great.
That's what you want.
We've never signed a bad Hungarian either.
Hardy's given him the old 1-2 instead of shooting. Come on, Ryan, sort your life out. When he was in the box, he was like, I'll cut it back to the centre half. He's just got up 1,500 miles up there. Just hit the bloody ball. Anyway, that's straight
the final point from Cornell, I'm just reading this from the ticker feed that they put on X earlier. I haven't had the time to watch it all, but our job is to deal with these pressures, to fight for the badge. We need to prove something. We need to show the character and the fight that this badge means a lot for us. And yes, some of these comments, are what you'd expect players to say. They're not going to go out there and say, yeah, we can't be asked now. We're just going to pit our feet up. But I think sometimes when you actually watch it, you do feel that more raw emotion, don't you, coming through. So I am excited for Saturday because going there with the mindset of nothing to lose really. So I'm pleased for that. So I've loved seeing Cornell play since he's joined us, and it's been another great addition to the squad for sure. Going on to, just wait for it to refresh back up to me, going on to Miron's press conference part himself then. He started off with, we have to win the next one. We have to have this desire and the heart to grab this opportunity. If we don't manage to do this, then I can't be optimistic anymore. So that's quite a statement, isn't it, gents? Andy, sort of almost then that he's going to be resigned to the situation after Saturday. He probably is already.
And he's got to, as a manager, he's got to believe that he can go and get something from the game. He wants to get something from the game. He likes that buzz. We told him about the crowd. We know about the crowd sort of getting behind him, and so he loves all that. But you do hear it in his voice. It's like almost resonant to sort of relegation. If we lose or draw, we need to win, and he's absolutely right. He's got to say that. He can't go say, "Nah, we're going to lose. We're downs." What more can the guy do? I think he believes in the players. Absolutely, 100% believes in the players.
Yeah, no, absolutely. So look, let's see. I think I'm starting to get a really good buzz for Saturday now. He did also say on Norwich it will be an open game. They will come here and attack because if they get 3 points, they can attack the playoffs. That's their pressure. That's on them to try and obviously aim for that. On home park itself, we have to make it key. The support will be there as it was at Watford. The support was amazing. It's not up to them though. It's up to us. They will be there, and we have to make sure that we show up. And I do think, Gavin, it's just a different mindset. Like I said on Sunday for the players now, isn't it? I think that will help a lot. I think with the performance on Saturday,
every game should be a free hit now. Just free hit. Just think Liverpool, think Man City, think Brentford. Free hit. Go out, play socks off. Lose, we're down. Care. Yeah, let's just go out and give it all. Represent yourself in the best way. Play the game plan. And one thing that really struck me about this interview was really interesting was the fact that he's talked about the players and their desires, and that they've got to show on Saturday. Basically, they're playing for their mortgages because there are some players with older contracts who have got 50% reductions in salaries when they go down. Performance-related pay in my world. That's good work. But there are some of the new ones won't, but some of the older ones will be going from probably £8,000-9,000 a week to for £5,000 a week. It's a big cut, isn't it? When the missus goes, can we go? No. Why not? My wages are half. So they are playing for their livelihoods. And in the old days, when they were on 200 quid a week or whatever it was, and they were going down to 150 in the league below, they literally were playing for their livelihoods, weren't they? Playing for their mortgages. So they've got to demonstrate that. Simple. They've got to go out and say, we're going to outfight the opposition. And if you look at what Derby have done in the last 4 games, including beating us, that's what they did. They wanted it more than we did. Fact.
Yeah. Yeah. No, absolutely. You'd think it's that when you look at it like that, if you've got that in your contract, well, why haven't they put in the effort then to ensure they stay up in this league? And it is just so many other mitigating factors, that we've talked about a lot.
Just show what momentum can do, can't it, after a couple of decent results? I thought we were going to get that after the Pompey 3 points, but it didn't happen, did it?
No, exactly, and I think that's just the story, of our season, isn't it? And then with the Derby game at home, and then we we go and lose that at the death. So it's sort of, is the writing on the wall? Yes, folks, it probably is. Miron also said a lot of things have happened since the last game against Norwich. It sticks in the players' minds. They believe that they have the quality to hurt Norwich. We will have our moments. We just need to be efficient. That's a big word for us yet. That was obvious the other day as well, wasn't it? In more ways, not just one. They need to step up. Offensive players, it's all about output. We need this output, assists and goals. Bundu and Hardy deliver, but it's 2 players. We need 9 offensive players. They have to do better. So that's the summarised, sort of comments that were put out on the show. Obviously, go and check it out. It is on YouTube for all you people, mugs, that are paying the Argyle TV subscription. I do, on that note, that I do find it a bit strange why they are doing that, because you pay your tenner a month. Is it tenner a month?
No, it's 50 quid a year, isn't it? Well, I get mine as part of my...
Yeah, five a month.
Yeah, so £5 a month, 50 quid a year, and then to sort of get more exclusive content. And they have started to certainly use the YouTube channel a bit more. So feel that is a little bit naughty. It should be a bit like a Patreon, that you should probably get early access to it before it then goes out.
Whereas like anti-Patreon, you'll put it on YouTube at 2 o'clock, and I'll check Argyle TV. I don't even know if it's on yet, is it?
No, so there you go. If anybody from the club is listening, maybe you can review that situation.
It's still not on the
Is it not?
The Argyle TV channel.
So, and there's plenty of scheduling tools to put all these things up at once. So, right then, we're going to get on to end the show what we think going in to the game, the lineup will be. But before I do that, I just want to sort of shout out. So, thank you to everybody that has joined us again tonight. It's good to have you on board to listen to us waffle on again in your week of all things Plymouth Argyle. But we do absolutely appreciate it. Just go to my screen share quickly. So we do have our new website. So at theblock9.co.uk, go on there. We do have, and I don't know because I haven't looked for ages, who has got the current high score. So it was Ninja Matt the other day.
We need to ban Ninja Matt. That's by proxy. We need to ban Ninja Matt for playing this game. And Martin Ingham, because he's very good. And I'm terrible at it. I get killed in sort of first 3 screens.
I don't like it when foreigners, not our little clicky gang, can get in and look, he's...
Look at that. How are you supposed to get that?
15,405. He's embarrassed you, mate.
As far as I know, there's no way to trick the game, even if I didn't effectively write it. AI helped me do it with my brilliant inspiration. But yeah,
you
Ninja Matt up there.
Exeter City little flying saucers going across the screen, Mike, at the top.
Only if we go down, Andy.
So, even my high score originally, like 3,500, that took some doing, and the speed and the amount of red dots was incredible. So to get 15,
he must have an old school joystick.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when you're doing the old Olympic Games on the Commodore 64.
Yeah.
I would ask a question then, Mike. Those noises that come out, though, ooh, is that you? Is that your voice?
Because no, I did take them off. I did take them off a free online website. To be fair,
sounds just like your voice.
See, this is the trick, folks. Leave it to one crest, then get your double bonus. There we go.
That's what I've been doing. See, and then it doubles up.
This is not. You cannot play this on a mobile. You do need a keyboard and mouse. Keyboard.
There's times when these things come down and they miss you by miles, but then all of a sudden you hear this. Ooh.
Come on, I'm doing well here. Carry on talking, Andy.
Yeah.
You are doing well.
Hang on.
Oh,
Yes.
And what's this
So,
timer in the middle?
bonus.
Like this 118, 117. How did you get through that?
Oh, hang on. Here we go. Live on the show, we're playing games.
We
It
are
is
playing the
addictive,
game.
I
This
have
is
to
the
say.
game that everyone is
for
talking
those,
about.
for those that
on
are
the
listening
Blockline
on
podcast.
Audible,
Martin
this is
Ingham is not allowed to
Pac-Man
play
with
anymore, and neither is Ninja Bat.
Argyle characters.
Hang on, I got Andy and Gavin trying to say something, talking over each other. Keep
change.
yourselves quiet, right? I'm trying to concentrate and beat that score. Clearly, I haven't.
You've
So
no chance.
no.
15,405 is just impossible.
So you can see the playlist to our latest shows on there, and also, although it's disappeared, where's that gone? The podcast integration is not showing up there. I shall fix that. And then obviously the post-match and previews that Herbie will be providing us with,
And
and
also
of course
our abouts as well.
the what? Sorry.
Our abouts. Oh, this is good.
Yeah. So I do have some news to bring you. Hang on. Wait for it.
Jeremy
It's time for the latest Plymouth Argyle news brought to you by the
And any reason, an excuse to use that again. So we've received our first order. Cha-ching.
No.
So someone has purchased obviously GDPR, can't give out details. Someone has purchased a team mug. And of course, because why wouldn't you, a Crazy Pilgrim mug? So
yeah, this is
Yeah, that was you, mate.
blatantly,
You bought it
blatantly
yourself.
someone who's related to
was it your
a
wife?
certain man on the pod who is talking and hosting.
Yes.
Somebody in your family's done this. So don't give me all that old pony.
well, I definitely don't recognise the address. It's someone in Cornwall, but yeah, big up to. But this is the team mug, so yeah, you can all see it on the website. But yeah, and obviously we've had some new members recently, so I haven't got the hours in the day to keep doing
We
this
need a
artwork.
Carrington Jr.
The what? Sorry.
We need a Chris. Oh God, what's his name? Bob Dainstead. What's his name? The journalist.
Chris Harrington.
Harrington. Yeah, we need him
Herbie.
as Herbie,
Herbie.
the junior version.
But yes, they're all on there, and
Thanks,
all funds go to help towards bringing this quality production and quality VT effects like the news there to you, you know. So yes, but there we go. So there's the website. So now on to things that are more important to you all. Yes, we know that. So using FOTMob's little team selector, I have Gavin's provisional lineup. We generally always start with Gavin's lineup, and he does like to take pride in getting most of it right from the team that's selected
That's 11
on the
out
day.
of 11 there. It's done.
You what? Sorry.
That's 11 out of 11. It's done.
No, be boating instead of JB. You watch.
So
So-
take us through this, Gavin.
So it's yeah. We drew away miraculously at Watford. That team started. Obviously no Maxi, so that made the back three an easier decision. I still think that certain Victor Paulson's getting not a great rub of the green, I have to say. But it's a three. Well, it's a 3-4-2-1, but you can't have 3-4-2-1 on FOTMob, so it's a 3-4-3. Thank you very much. Pleguezuelo on the left, Such on the right, and Katic right down the middle. A midfield of left wing back Tomas Puzac, a right wing back of Matti Serinola, who is keeping our illustrious skipper at the side. I think he is going to take over the hips like a 18-year-old Alsatian for next year if he still continues to play our illustrious skipper. Now we haven't got Andre Gray anymore. A midfield of Adam Randall and Darko JB. I really, really struggled on this one because I wanted to put Boateng on the side, but for whatever reason, he didn't even make the squad away at Watford. That was one of the most bemusing decisions I think I've seen ever, but there we are. Considering we had the Civ come on instead. And then a front three, two in behind are Michael Obafemi and Ryan Hardy and Mustafa Bundu in the middle up front.
Yeah.
So there we are. And for me, the bench is probably the only contentious point here. So Grimshaw obviously picks himself, doesn't he? Boateng needs to be on the bench, most definitely. Ballymumba needs to be on the bench, most definitely. You've got to give TJ another run, although he couldn't score with a bankrupt lady of ill repute, with holding lots and lots of £50 notes on Saturday, which was jolly frustrating for everybody, including him, probably, I imagine.
But at least he's
think you've
getting
got
some
to-
chances and wanting to show a bit of effort,
No, he
put a
is,
shot
yeah,
on
yeah.
goal,
But I mean,
which is more
he couldn't
than
get his he couldn't get his Alsatian hit round the ball quick enough. Could
which
he,
is
to get
more
it into the
than
corner?
what Beidou can do.
Well, so here's
And
my
now
next
Carl.
contentious thing. Yeah, stop being mean, Carl. Stop being mean.
Facts.
I would have Michael Beidou and Rami El Hadj on the bench.
Yeah.
And the front three I would change. I would bang both them on, irrespective. Won't go to lose. And I would have Victor Paulsen, obviously, and I think that's the 9, isn't it? I think I've got 9.
No Callum Wright.
Yeah, I don't see the point in having Edwards on the bench when you've got Mumba, who can play 10 and wing back. Ogbeta didn't get a look in last game either, did he? No one even mentioned his name in the press conference. Or did he? Did Ogbeta get on the bench last game?
No, I don't know.
Sure.
I can always look it up if we have to. But I was just studying on my phone Steve's, but he's now deleted it. So
I'm putting the crap one in there now because
have you?
I put in them Joe Edwards and it
Yeah, you
had
did.
and it had a different person's face on it.
Oh, did it? Okay.
And it wasn't white.
So you had you had effectively gone for where is
Marcus
it on here?
Edwards.
You'd effectively gone for Edwards instead of Sorinola, didn't you?
We got 3-game week this week as well.
Have we?
Yeah,
we're
we got
playing
Swansea on Tuesday.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
I'd have Edwards for Swansea, to be fair.
Yeah, I'm with Gavin that I don't think I put Edwards in there from Steve's selection. I don't think you can you can drop Sorinola personally, but at the moment, what did you go in your midfield? You had the same defensive line at Plaguey,
I
Katic,
put
and Zoot.
Boateng in because I find it quite bizarre why he was out unless he just left him out for some reason. Unless he had a little niggle.
Yeah.
No, he was left out for tactical reasons, Steve. Not selected.
Tactical reasons. He's defensive.
Well, basically what he insinuated was he wanted TJ on the bench to try as a threat, and Boateng was the one who missed out.
So you're going for Boateng over JB, are you?
Yeah, because JB cannot play he doesn't have 2 decent games back to back.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. And did you have Pukac on the other side?
No, I went for Mumba.
Mumba. Oh, yeah, you did. Sorry. So Barley Mumba.
Big
So there you go.
changes.
And up front, who did you have up front, Steve?
Obafemi, Bundu, and Hardy.
Yeah. So just a change really in the midfield then. So Andy, what would you be going for with your lineup?
I think exactly that there. What Steve's got there with Mumba on the left, yeah, Boateng. I just think, yeah, JB, he can give, but he doesn't have 2 games on a spin that are good. You know, he's one of those players. Why are we missing Callum Wright out on the bench as well, Gav? Come on. Have you got something against Callum Wright? I have to report.
I have nothing against Callum Wright whatsoever.
He's just picking better options, he
It's
says.
just industrial, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's just industrial. I'll run around a lot. We need some quality. If you're gonna bring someone on, you bring Rami El Hadj on.
He chased that ball down on Saturday and fed it through.
No, he did, and he was really good. But he's a little bit. He's about as blunt as a baseball bat, isn't he? We need someone with a bit rapier. We need a rapier. We need someone with a bit of slick touch and slide.
I'd stick with that. I really would stick with that. Steve
Who has a slick touch in our side? Sorry, what have I missed? I think
Mumba and Boateng. Yeah, I like that on the left hand side.
I think sort of Gavin's persisted on Obafemi for a while, and I have to say definitely, and as Gavin pointed out, it's typical to the fact that he's playing for a contract, but he did do well against Watford.
Some of his passing in Watford was sublime.
Yeah,
so it's that in him.
It's that's where I think he's definitely edging out right at the minute with that. Okay. So I would agree with that. I don't think I don't think I'd have Edwards in. I do like seeing Mumba. There's been doubts, Carl, on actually Pukac. I've seen a few comments there on, he seems to have dropped off. I think he was used quite heavily in that, those couple of months in short bursts of games. But what would you change from Steve's lineup?
Yeah, on Pukac, he kind of came in, kind of hit the ground running, decent performances. He's just looked very leggy and tired, and some of his balls into the box haven't been as good as they were. And I would
still deadly.
I would still pick him though. I think he still offers that quality. That one ball he puts in could be the crucial one. So yeah, I think the back three picks itself at the moment. Harsh on Paulson because I think he still deserves a mention. I think he's done well under Miron. But yeah, you can't change the back three as it is. Again, Sorinola, Randall. I would agree with Steve. Boateng for JB. Sorry, JB. I just don't get it with JB at all. Pukac, Bundu, Hardy, and Mumba up front in the front three. You need to go for it at home, and I think Mumba has had a bit of a harsh time of it of late.
So you drop Obafemi for Mumba, did you say?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because let's be honest, Mumba's probably going to be here more next season than Obafemi is. So I'd rather have players that want to be here now at this point.
I'm just going to move us to the right, actually.
Let's not forget he's playing Norwich, his former club.
He's playing Norwich, so that's some inside knowledge.
Oh, lovely little reminder there, Andy. So, yeah, to be fair, I quite like the Mumba inclusion for Obafemi. That's not a bad shout at all. Yeah, I mean, for me, I'm rubbish at tactics and all this sort of stuff. But I think, for me, I'm sticking with JB. But I'm actually going to go with your Mumba up front. But I'll go with Pleguezuelo, Katic, Zooks, the back three. Sorinola, Randall, JB, I'd go for Pukac. Mumba, I'll go for Bundu and Hardy. So, yeah, interesting observations to that tonight. So,
on JB, guys, would you have him in League One if given the chance of signing him in a kind of a cut price deal another season-long loan?
He's out of contract end of next season. JB is.
So, for example, if we can maybe do a deal for $1 million, would you take him for League One?
£1 million, yes.
Yes.
£1 million, no more than that.
Yeah, if you can get him between 800k and £1 million, a year in League One, you'd be selling him for £4 to £5 million to another champ club in 24 months.
Which is
let's be honest, he's not a crap player. He's young.
He's only 20.
We've seen glimpses of quality. Obviously Leeds spent £5 million on him, so they obviously saw enough quality to spend that amount of money on him. He's obviously he's in the England setup as well, isn't he? So it's
I'll tell you why I would, and that is because we've invested quite a lot in him already. We've used him a lot this season. He's been one that has played a lot of games. I've brought up the fact that has he played too much, a bit like Randall. They were almost used every game, and I think to look at the situation and say, actually, do we want him if we go down in League One? Would he want to obviously join? Would Leeds want him in League One? I think if the answer is yes to that, then I think it's worth continuing that investment in him, because in League One, then he can develop and build himself. And from that, then we could have, a really strong, player for midfield. So
he's got all the attributes to be an absolute shit-hot, box-to-box midfielder, right? But he ain't there yet. But he's 20. If you look at Phillips last year, who played centre half, he was up and down like a bull's jaws. I started saying that. Knickers was knickers. Okay. Bit more polite. But he's done really, really well at Stoke this year. They're young kids. They need to develop, don't they? They need, and also, not harping back to my best friend, Siv, but we also need someone alongside him who's going to look after him.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying that you try and it's not a pity side at all, but when you've got older players, I'll use a rugby reference for Matt if he's around, but like in the centres, a young centre, you have an old centre alongside who looks after him and make sure that he isn't taking the big hits and blah, blah, blah. It's exactly the same in midfield. That duo need to have need to have someone who's going to look after him and actually is happy to take on the responsibility of taking the ball in tough situations. And I think if he gets that more, like I thought he had one of his best games on Saturday at Watford. I know I got slaughtered for it when I tweeted it from some people. Thanks, boys. But there we are.
I've just picked up. Gavin asked in our chat here about so I've just picked their last game being away. It wasn't their last game, but the last away game where they lost to Bristol City 2-1. So they sort of played a 4-3-3.
4-3-3. They've played a lot of 4-2-3-1 this year, which is what made me think actually, what is the best lineup against that? Because we could end up being swamped in midfield again. That's the only issue I have. When we play 4-4-3, hey, rugby on the card. He's got it in. It's taken me an hour and a bit, but he's got it in. There we go.
Yeah. Anything else to add to that, or should I just come off it? I'll come off it because
I think the midfield duel every week is exactly our problem. If we're overloaded in midfield, we look bloody bang average. If we win the midfield battle, we tend to dominate games. So, that's why I think that midfield 2 is a big thing. And it might be that next season he goes for 4-2-3-1 and has the 3 more expansive players up the pitch. I actually think JB would be suited to that extended middle 4-2 or in the 3 before the 1 sitting there, because when he played Middlesbrough last year in that more sort of 8 role, he ran the game, didn't he, up there when we beat him 3-1? Said that about 3 times now, but there we are.
That's all right. We've done well tonight. I appreciate everybody. We just broke over the 200 mark, which for a Thursday evening, is fantastic. So we do appreciate everybody that's joined us tonight. So look, like we said, more calm, relaxed approach. Just look forward to Saturday now. Don't stress about it. We'll see what happens. Hopefully, we still see some great performances coming on board. I, for one, and no doubt Gareth, and I'm not discounting that no one else has had a tough week of work, but we are opening 4 stores tomorrow. And let's just say Ireland has been an interesting battle this week. But I want to give a shout out, though, even if none of them are watching, but if any of you work in retail, we are opening 3 Irish home-based stores that we've converted to the range in Baloo Park in Northern Ireland, Sligo and Drogheda in Southern Ireland, and also Winchester over here as well. And the teams that do these stores and turn them around in the time that they do is phenomenal. So really proud. I just wanted to give it a personal
will you be selling the patio doors?
Patio doors.
Patio doors. So it is.
We're selling a lot of patio stuff with this weather.
And on that note,
there at the moment. But I tell you what, to all retail people,
soon to be hot tubs again.
God, it will be. Well, even Ben was saying to me yesterday when he got home from school, messaged me going, "Can we pick the pool up outside tonight, Dad? I'm melting. I'm like, it'll be an ice bath. Are you mad?" So, but that pool could end up going up tomorrow. Oh God. So we'll see anyway. But Andy, Gavin, Carl, and Steve, thank you for your company tonight. Been another good show. Everybody,
we haven't done the predictions.
Come on, Michael. You're tired.
One job.
One
job.
Yeah. Or you.
One job, Jezza.
Half a job.
Yeah. Pulling this show together. It's not a 5-minute thing. All right. So that's why my mug's popular. Okay. Score predictions, Andy. Go for it.
Gonna go for a 1-0 Argyle win. I always go for a 1-0 Argyle win. As long as the opponent score nil, I don't care. 1-0.
Yeah. And before I go to you, Gavin, Ian Voodoo, and anybody else who's still in the chat, Martin, maybe as well, pick your predictions and I'll read them out quickly. Gavin, what are you going for?
3-1 Argyle. There you go. There's a bit of positivity. Doesn't matter anymore, does it? Move on.
I'm going to go high, but Carl, what's your prediction?
I'm going to go 2-1 Argyle with another famous last-minute winner. It's been a while since you've had one of them.
Yeah. And Steve?
4-2 Argyle.
Oh, wow, okay.
We're going to score 4.
But we can see 2.
Yeah.
Place your bets, folks. Place your bets, but bet responsibly, of
Well,
course.
remember last season? I know none of the players are here, but we did score 6 against them, and Brian Gunn's going to be in goal again.
Yeah,
Oh, that's a point.
who was that one
We got
that
shot of him.
who was that player that got the hat trick? I can't remember his name now. What's he called?
I don't know.
Winger, no, was he called Sart? Oh, I can't
I
remember.
know.
So Martin Ingham is going.
Just a shout out to Dave Easton, friend of the pod.
Yes.
Who said at the beginning of the before the game last year in Diamond, I can see us winning 6-2 today, and we did. And I was like, "Why don't you have a freaking tenner on that?"
I thought Gunn got fired, didn't he, for his job?
Oh,
I don't know. Carl's lost it. I've missed something here, clearly.
Is it my dad jokes, Carl?
I don't think Michael gets it. Goalkeeper called Gun, and he's talking about shooting.
Right,
on.
okay.
Oh, dear.
Speaking of shooting, championship
shot him.
shootout on the block9.co.uk. So go check it out.
Jesus, Webb, he doesn't stop, does he?
Or as Ian said earlier in the comments, have you got a League One version of the game just in case? No, I haven't, because we don't need it. We won't need it. So my prediction, I'm going to take the confidence and the fact that I think the edginess is more on Norwich with the playoff potential. 3-0.
Wow. Martin Ingham said 2-1. Well done, Martin. I'm glad you see Argyle winning.
Yeah, Ian's gone 2-0 as well to Argyle. So this will be replayed Monday. Sean Liam, Lee Hain. This will be replayed Monday. Not sure what, unless I've missed something. But
I think he means our predictions.
oh yeah,
Yeah,
Sunday.
that's-
It's Sunday.
The player
Sunday.
of Norwich is
Sunday.
Borja Saints.
It's what? Sorry.
Is it Borja Saints?
Borja
He scored a hat-trick
Saints,
in
yeah.
Torgo, didn't he?
Yeah, he's a
just
earlier in the
top
season.
player.
He scored 17 goals, I think, or 18 goals.
And that was
We
just
got
that was
charges
just
on 13.
against us in November.
Patrick's just thinking about his pocket, mate. Don't worry.
Yeah, we've helped their goal difference massively. Yes, we got obviously Sunday show post the Norwich. That is at our usual time there of 6:30. So come and join us for that. And if we can remember what we predicted, then yes, we will call ourselves out, see if anybody gets close to it. So other than that,
We've
yes,
all gone mad.
We got
No,
some
What are we
predictions.
doing now?
We got some
Stick
predictions
that
here.
up.
He's not mentioned Pleggy yet.
I have.
We've got a book run on this.
You've mentioned it for me, even in Pleggy, even in Georgia. If you are watching, you're probably not, but if you are, hello, and hope you're all well. So yes, look, well, it's time to go. So I am shattered now, and sure Gavin wants to get some sleep.
And
Because he
me.
just walked in the door.
I want this pod to go on all night because I've got to go and face the wife now. I'm walking in the door and going straight to a pod.
Just put your 10 out on,
Kicking
mate.
and
It'll
a
be all right.
half. She's probably waiting there with the old
Rolling
teeth
pin.
foul.
Yeah, well, she's locked the bedroom door, mate. So you're sleeping in your office there.
Nothing changes
So
Sunday
Rooney,
night.
what are you implying? We've all gone mad, mate. Are you not an Argyle fan? I bet you support the team up the
No,
road.
no,
don't
he
you?
is. He's just a realist. What's this win now when
anyway.
it's all done?
That's it. Folks, thank you for joining us tonight. Please give the channel and all of us a like and a follow on YouTube. Of course, subscribe and tick that bell. So when we, do book our next showing, it's Sunday, it's Thursday. It's generally how it works at the moment. Then you can get your reminder. Other than that, thank you all for joining. And like Voodoo said, before we actually all do go mad, it's time to go to bed. Let's look forward to Saturday. Look forward to 3 points. Keep us in it.